Good morning. I uh I see BIYA as I'm sitting down here this morning. However, it's a no news Chinese stock. I don't really know if I can trust this one. Like we got some topping tails. Morning momentum trader. Hmm. Morning PRA. Hmm. So this is up 80%. Does it hold? Is the question. I just called you PRA for your first three letters. You prefer Probinks? Probinks? Sometimes I end up defaulting to calling people the first couple letters of their name I've if I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Probin. Okay, I'll call you Probin from now on. So as per recommendation, I'm trying out different form of the news scan, the news icon, Day Since News for Charts Watcher to see how I like it. I think one flame means that the news came out today, right? Yeah. Might save a little bit more space. I'm not interested in AIHS. The float is too high and it's too cheap. Still watching BIYA, but it's kind of chopping around sideways as a topping tail in the 5 minute now. I'm not sure about this. No news Chinese stock. By the way, we are thunderstorming outside today. So if I randomly go offline, then it might be because of the thunder and lightning. So it's a good and a bad thing. I mean, more rain means more wildfires get put out in my area, but hopefully we don't have a random power outage. My day today? Do you mean like my regular life or my like my workflow, my day-to-day trading, and like my review process and stuff? Pretty much I wake up at 6 a.m. Sometimes I hit the snooze button until 6:30 because I'm not so good at waking up at 6 a.m. and just getting out of bed immediately. But 6 to 7, I get ready, get some coffee, get a muffin, sit down for trading just before 7, turn on the stream, I get myself situated, and then I usually stream until I have to start working, depending on when I need to leave. Sometimes I'll leave a little bit early to start working. Sometimes I'll stick around until 9:45, 10 if I'm working from home, and then I'll work. I'll work usually until 5:30 or so. And when I'm done, it's pretty much just dinner and then using the few extra hours until I go to bed at 9 because I need to sleep like 8.5 hours or else I'll feel dead. So I start getting ready for bed at like 9, 9:30, fall asleep by 9:30, 10. But what I do in the evening kind of depends on what I feel like. Like I do fiction writing outside of trading as well. So the evening might be like trade review, it could be reading, it could be writing, or it could be going through YouTube and responding to comments and stuff, or thinking about videos recently because we did hit 100 subscribers on Sunday, which is fantastic. I've been streaming for 3 or 4 months now, and I have only had 18 subs in 3 months. But in like 6 days, it went from 18 to over 100. So I probably got to start thinking about releasing some YouTube videos soon too, because I've had a bunch of questions about my setup and the software I use. That's most days. That's on weekdays because my job is pretty consistent Monday to Friday, working during those times. I get Saturday and Sunday off. And Saturday and Sunday, I'll game with my friends sometimes. Sometimes we'll do some gaming, or I'm writing my book. Sometimes I'll go out golfing during the summer. And I currently live at home with my family, but I do own a house. And my sister lives in the upstairs, and I'm renting my half of the house, which is the downstairs, for a few years. So I don't have the pressure, like a huge financial pressure while I'm trading and whatnot. I got a couple of years while I'm working to save up some money, and then maybe in a few years, hopefully, um, I can be independent and I can move into the basement. We renovated the whole basement recently. We bought it last May, and we renovated the whole thing brand new. We tore down all the walls. We got a brand new kitchen in there with a nice kitchen counter island. So we might be forming a curl here on BIYA. MACD still negative, but that 5-minute candle is closing in 50 seconds. Having some troubles. It's still our leading gainer by a big margin. The traders might be watching this, but the high of this candle is 733. Closing in 15 seconds. MACD still negative. Now we got a topping tail on that green candle on the 5-minute, which I don't particularly like. MACD is still negative. We'll see what it does here. The breakout spot would be above 740, I think, potentially. This previous pivot. But it could, first 5-minute candle to make a new high would be 733. So if it breaks 733, then I suppose I would be looking for the breakthrough 740 as well. Goes there. Does it hold? I'm still wary because MACD is still negative. It could just be a false break. This is a no news Chinese stock. Yeah, looks like it's closing with a big popping tail. Red candle. That's not good. Well, gotta keep an eye on it if it holds here, because this could do what NXTC did previously on, was it Wednesday? Where if it holds and it comes back up and reclaims this candle and MACD turns positive, now we're looking at a pivot above 758 for the breakthrough high of day. So if it holds and it comes back up, then it might break through. But for now, we're just waiting. Cost of living per month. I suppose if I'm not going to include all of the software costs that I have for trading. That probably doesn't count. But if we're just talking about regular cost of living, then I would say probably just a few $100 per month. My parents are very, very generous with me right now. And my tenant is paying half of the house expenses and my sister's paying the other half. So I don't have house expenses right now. So I can pretty generously save for a couple of years until I move in, when the contract with my tenant is done, and then I can move in. So not very much. Caught the 9 EMA pullback at 715. 715 off 7 got up to 770. Oh, nice on the very first one. Yeah, that was a good pop there. That pop really surprised me. Nice job on that one. Yes, I did learn from Ross. When I first started trading back in, so my journey so far has pretty much been I found trading for the very first time in mid-July, but I didn't start trading, like I didn't open an account until August. But I found trading through Ross's YouTube channel, and I watched some videos and stuff, and I like made a TradingView account, and I dabbled around with paper trading for like 1 or 2 weeks until I decided whether or not I wanted to open a brokerage account. But I opened my first brokerage account in August, like at the very beginning of August. And I traded for maybe 1 or 2 months just off of like Ross's YouTube videos and YouTube videos from other people, deciding if small caps was the strategy that I wanted to use. And I was really overconfident back then. I was like, "Oh, this looks easy. We'll just do it. I'll just try this." And I wasn't trading very much. I traded like 5 or 10 shares in Questrade or something. I put in maybe a couple $100. Nothing crazy. And I ended up losing money. I had beginner's luck for a little bit, and I actually made some money, and then it didn't take me long. It took me like a few days to start losing again, because I started sizing up, and I was like, oh, this is easy. And I started sizing up, and then I started losing. And it was at that point that I was like, I need some more education. And I'm pretty privileged in the sense that I have a 9 to 5 job, and I have some savings. So I invested, you can call it an investment, in some education in Ross's educational courses after verifying that he was legit and doing a bunch of research. I took the trial with him first, and then I paid for the full course, and I spent like 2 months binging from Ross's courses. And I also have his stream up here muted on this side just to check what he's doing sometimes. See if he's looking at generally the same things that I'm looking at. Sometimes I unmute if there's like nothing going on, and I'll listen in. But I have been following him for a while. I suppose if I was watching the 10-second chart more closely here, this could have been a trade. Um, I mean, good job, Doom, for seeing this because it broke below the previous high of day there twice. So it kind of tested it, got bought back up, tested it, got bought back up. And so the second time it got bought back up, that might have been a buy there for first candle to make a new high, 717. I'm really just trying to focus on quality right now, though. So this is a no news Chinese stock, which automatically makes me wary, especially when it pulls back, has a topping tail, and it pulls back from 750 all the way down to 7. So I'm, you know, my tolerance for a little bit more risk is not not as much right now. I'll probably begin expanding to buying dips once I have a solid backbone and the setups that I like to take. Thank you, Jay. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Oh, my poor dog. It's thundering and lightning outside. He's trembling against my foot. You wanna come up on my lap, buddy? You wanna come up? You wanna come up? Come up. What are you doing? He doesn't like being picked up. Silly dog. Ugh. Yorkshire Terriers are always fussy. No, I've never tried TZ1. Uh, that was introduced just back in October. I didn't get the chance to research it this weekend because somebody asked a question about it last weekend. See, TZ1 next generation browser-based platform. I can tell you what AI says here. It says that Trade Zero Pro is better for my situation. So Trade Zero Pro has better hotkey customization. Multi-monitor setup is easier. Utilizes PC resources better than a browser. Yeah, there is one thing that I will say about browser-based Windows is that even just having like I stream, right? So it's not a problem necessarily for me because I need to have Google Chrome open anyways. But Google Chrome just being open, I've noticed in recent years, takes up a ton of your memory for like no reason. I don't know why. It never used to do that, but now it takes up a significant portion of your memory. So if you don't have like a really good PC like me, Browser based windows might clog up some of your workflow. Yeah, so I mean, Trade Zero, it's free, right? Like TZ1 is free. So depends on if your finances can handle it or not. Like if it would be better for you to go with the cheaper options, and TZ1 might be better. But if you prefer like fast, like speed and hotkeys and stuff, probably Pro is just better. That's gonna be my guess. You were overconfident back then too, lost around $600. Yeah, we're pretty much we're very close to kind of the same situation then, actually. Um, I blew up my account. The definition I use of blow up means like I've lost 50% of the account value. I probably blew up my account 4 times, four or so times when I began trading. Some of them with smaller accounts. Well, one of them was a smaller account, and then three or four of the other times were with like $1,000 accounts or $2,000 accounts. So I've lost, since I began trading, I've probably lost a few $1,000, not including all of the software fees and stuff. But it's money that I can afford to lose, my tuition. For the past 6 months or so, since I began streaming, though, I've basically been break even. Like I'm a little bit in the negative, but over the course of was it 250 or almost 300 trades, I'm like $50 in the red right now or something. If we don't include commissions, if we include commissions, then I'm down quite a bit. Um, but not all 250 or 300 of those trades were in Trade Zero specifically, because I started this challenge streaming, starting back testing in the sim for 3 months. So I'm down maybe like $100 in commissions right now, or it was like $90. So I'm kind of a break even trader, but I'm still losing in commissions. I'm still on the path to becoming profitable myself here. But we've actually been doing well in the past 3 weeks. We'll see if that momentum continues. Last week I was up $20. The previous week I was basically break even. And then the week before that I was up a little bit because I got a windfall from a blue sky trade. Okay, take care, Momentum Trader. Nice job on BIYA. I'll catch you tomorrow. But yeah, I'm not. I'm looking to go full time eventually, but I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket quite yet. Making sure that I give myself ample runway if I do quit to go full time, and I'm not gonna source my only income from trading. Like I plan to write books, so I'll try and publish some fiction novels. Hopefully, I can get that business off the ground, but that's very difficult finding the time to do that and trade and do trade review and do YouTube. I've kind of been stretching myself a little bit thin between that and my job. But I'm hoping to give myself a nice nice runway before I take the leap. And we're still learning, so eventually when I become profitable, then I will be more optimistic. Hotkey's not working right now in TZ1. Yeah, that's a deal breaker for me. If there's no hotkeys, I don't use it. That's why I don't use Questrade anymore. It doesn't have customizable hotkeys, so I don't use it. So we're kind of curling a little bit here. This 5-minute candle is closing in 5 seconds. MACD's curling positive. So we'll see what it does here. What's up, cool dude? Yeah, it didn't have a proper setup for me. I don't take dips here. Like a dip trading isn't a part of my setups. So, and down here, I was just kind of just sitting down at 7 a.m. It's a Chinese stock with no news. It popped up here and had a bit of a topping tail in that first 1-minute candle. So I kind of just left it alone to see if it would hold up. And it didn't end up holding up, so no trades on it for me. And unfortunately with this, now we're looking at potential descending resistance here. Maybe it'd be better on the 5-minute. No, that's probably right. No, I'm not too optimistic about this curl anymore. When my chart starts looking like this, when there's all these resistance levels that it's below, now we're starting to get into like I'm not really interested anymore. We got the previous high as a resistance level. We got this pivot here that just got retested and it rejected off of. We got potential descending resistance. We got this pivot level up here, and then we got high a day. Now this is kind of a spaghetti bowl of a stock. I don't think Ross took a trade on this stock either. Ross also has no trades. So I think we're just a little bit wary of it, that's all. since it broke the previous high of day. Well, you're buying the dip off of that previous level, right? What I would what I categorize as a dip trade is, I could be incorrect on this, but to me there's buying first candle to make a new high, so buying confirmation, and then there's buying the dip. It's kind of two separate things for me. When you buy a dip, you're buying off of support. So the 712 is the previous support level. If I look at the 1 minute chart, I don't see a setup here. I see a topping tail. I see a one green candle, and then I see a red candle pulling back from 750 down to support. So for me, if I'm looking at the 1 minute chart, buying down here is buying a dip off of the 9 EMA and this level of support. It's not buying confirmation. If I buy down here and it goes lower because it's a no news Chinese stock and there's a bunch of sellers up here, then it's a little bit more riskier than waiting for confirmation and buying confirmation. Both are correct. I'm not saying one is incorrect and one isn't, because you can change your share size depending on what you're doing. Like buying down here at the dip, you can take larger share size. It's just a matter of cutting it quicker. You buy up at confirmation, you take smaller share size because you're risking more since you're farther away from support. I'm just saying that, like for me, there wasn't a setup here because it dip, according to my personal categorization, buying a dip down here isn't a part of my setups. Like I'm trying to buy confirmation right now because I'm looking for accuracy. Or maybe not buying confirmation, but buying when I see a setup, maybe buying a little bit early to anticipate confirmation or first candle to make a new high. I mean, if you look at the 10-second chart, it does look better than if you look at the 1 minute chart alone because it pulls back here and then it kind of tests several times off of this level. So it pulls back, gets bought up twice before it spikes. So it does look better on the 10-second chart. You could call this like an ABCD almost off of the 10-second chart. But I don't know. It's questionable. Maybe I should have taken it. What's it doing up here? It is actually curling up here now, but that's surprising to me. Wow. I kind of missed this one now. Like I said before, I might have bought for the breakthrough through 758, but I see some 16,000 share sellers popping up there. So I guess, does this hold 8 is the question. I'm worried that if I buy up here, I'll be chasing. Hmm. High there was 861. See, what's been going on with these though is, so I mean, this would be a 1 minute pullback for first candle to make a new high. But short sellers have been kind of aggressive off of these because they're pretty far from support. So I don't know if I can trust buying down here. Ten seconds left on that 5 minute candle that's forming a topping tail. Hmm. I don't want to get FOMO on this and just buy because I missed that pop. So is this really a good entry around here? It seems to be holding 8, but now we've got 2 topping tails. And the third topping tail in that green candle. There's still a no news Chinese stock. Yeah, consolidate, randomly pop, and then repeat. Yeah. I think I kind of just missed it while I was looking back there because I really wasn't expecting this to come up because I talked about the spaghetti bowl of resistance levels. So I might just sit this one out, honestly, and wait for something with news that I feel like I can trust a bit more to just not like pop and consolidate. Difference is a pullback if you see a bottoming wick. Yeah, you're right. I suppose I should be more careful with my definitions of what I call things. I think you're correct. Dip trade is buying as it's going down. You're buying straight off of a level of support without seeing any confirmation at all. Since back here earlier on, there was a couple of bottoming wicks. That's technically not a dip trade, but it depends on what I guess what time frame you're looking at too. I don't know. So, mm, Yeah, I think I missed this one. I think I would have bought right here for this micro pullback. This was a 5-minute candle close within like 2 candles. It popped up there, held for a 1-minute candle close for a micro pullback. I probably would have bought right there. Mm. Oh well, it is what it is. I'll try not to miss these. I'm still gonna be having to get used to streaming and trading at the same time and like talking to people in chat. But I get yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna blame chat. I'm gonna blame myself for not paying enough attention. No, it's all good. It's not your fault. The reason why I was comfortable enough to go back and look at this is because I legitimately thought that this was gonna sell off. Like I didn't think it was gonna pop up like that after I had just finished drawing all this resistance. So, but it did do exactly what I said earlier, is that if it reclaims this level with 758 and MACD curls positive, that's usually when we see our first spike. MACD turns positive, we reclaim one of these rejection candles back here. This is exactly what NXTC did on last Wednesday. So we're just gonna wait for news now. I don't think I want to buy this here. MACD's turning negative. I mean, it is kind of forming a 5-minute bull flag, 3 minutes in 3 minutes. I'm not sure. I'll have to see what it does in the next 2.5 minutes. Good morning. Not a good morning. Good morning, Gara Valdez. I might have missed your comment there because it's in the middle of the pop there. Hmm. So the 5-minute candle is closing in 20 seconds with a high of 804. MACD is negative now. So if it pops up here, it is a little bit riskier to take this trade while MACD is still negative. First 5-minute bull flag, potentially retest of high a day. And it's a no news Chinese stock. We'll see. We got 8 a.m. in 5 minutes. Maybe we get something else. I suppose the plus to taking this trade is that it's not breaking below that previous 775 level, that high. MACD is negative here. These, for sure, these no news Chinese stock can be very unpredictable. Yeah, it does a false break there. Jackknife's down. Vomit worthy. This is why I follow MACD so closely, especially on these Chinese stocks. It saves me a lot of heartache from crap like this. Like technically that's a 5-minute breakout, right? Above 804. False breakout, does a jackknife. It's disgusting. Back here, right? Anyone who bought around here while MACD was negative just got chopped the heck out. One false breakout, 2 false breakouts, descending resistance. MACD finally turns positive, and then you get a spike. I'm aware of market structure. Sometimes I'll keep it in mind, but it's not that important to me. What we care more about is whether the stock is moving quickly or not. If it's moving quickly, then that's when we're interested. So I mentioned this on one of my videos, but I'm only interested in a stock when it's doing one of three things. One, it's breaking out and making new highs, or two, it's breaking out of a range, or three, it has breaking news and it's moving quickly. So if it's not doing one of those three things, I don't trade it. I'm not interested in it. I don't even look at the chart. Unless it's something that has the potential to do one of those three things, i.e. a top leading gainer up a certain percentage on the day, and is like somewhat near high of day or getting close to VWAP or, close to breaking out of a range. So higher highs and higher lows doesn't really, you know, I don't look at that as much. I'm looking more at where the position of the stock is and if it's like obvious to traders or not, and if it's gonna move quickly. Yeah, I mean you're right, especially if you look at the 5 minute chart. We made a higher low here at this red candle right before the spike. But I think that there is some beauty in simplicity as well, not keeping track of too many things at once. Otherwise, you start getting analysis paralysis. And that's one of those things to keep in mind, but it's not something I track all the time. You know, so VCIG is popping up on my scans, but I don't even know if I want to look at it. It's just a penny stock. We'll take a look since BIYA just came down and did a jackknife. Only up 10% right now, 5.5 million share float. It's just a NASDAQ filing requirement. This isn't interesting to me. Yeah, it's a super garbage stock, 40 million high. I'm good. Just a stock that sells off all the time. I'll leave it up just to watch it, but for BIY on a side chart since it still is our leading gainer. And I am aware that a lot of people, when they're talking about higher highs and higher lows and lower highs and higher lows and all that, there is also sort of a, what do you call it? It's kind of like a box and a box and a box and a box, right? You can look at lower, like it depends on what time frames you're looking at too. They say that you should always adhere to higher time frames when using that sort of pattern. But yeah, it just depends on how long you're going to take the trade for, I suppose, and what time frame you use. But it can become a little bit complicated, depending on what time frame you're looking at. I think I just prefer the simplicity of MACD MACD turns positive, it's near high day, it starts becoming interesting. Sometimes I do look at that, but yeah, 100%. I'm the type of person that would say it's useful to have the tool in the box, even if you never use it, because you never know when you might use it. Better to have the tool in the box than not. And then it's up to the individual whether they want to ever use that tool or throw away the tool or just keep it there in case. But I'm not going to force using the tool. Like if I have 500 tools in my toolbox, I'm not going to use all 500 at once. It's just nonsensical. So some people have like Bollinger Bands and they have MACD and they have oscillators and they have RSI and they have ATR and they have all this stuff on their screen. And it's like, well, at a certain point, you got to throw away some of those tools. I did learn like some of what art, like how to use RSI and how to use some of these other tools that some traders use. Some of them I threw away. Some of them I lightly keep in the back of my mind. I think I agree with what some people say about the simpler that you can make your charts, the better for your own strategy, which is why I agree with what Ross has here, and I don't add anything extra to it. I did try to add RSI and some other stuff to it before, but it starts giving you analysis paralysis when you add too much. You start thinking too much. And yeah, MACD is a lagging indicator, so yeah, there are times where MACD is still negative and it goes without me. That's true. It is true, but it's kept me out of a lot of bad trades. Thanks, Robbie. I'll admit that it is pretty much stolen from how Ross Cameron sets up his charts. With some minor tweaks. I used to have a 2-minute chart here as well. If you go and look back at my VODs from like 2 months ago, I had the 2-minute chart here as well. I had a 5-minute, a 2-minute, 1-minute, the 10-second, and the 1-day. I just ended up getting rid of it. It was useful in some circumstances, but most of the time it was just cluttering space. And there was a point where I took away the 20 EMA and I only had the 9. But then I realized that the 20 EMA was actually very, very useful. So I've tried adjusting it, but I've kind of just came back to how Ross does his layout. Even the 200 EMA has been helpful sometimes on these charts, and I had that taken away as well. But sometimes the 200 EMA is relevant on both the 10-second and the 1-minute. So, what is my strat? Could I break it down for you? I trade Ross Cameron's at Warrior Trading's strategy, but I have some select patterns that I take. I don't trade everything in his strategy. So, Ross Cameron, he doesn't trade opening the opening bell anymore, so gap and goes aren't a part of his strategy really anymore, but he has a whole bunch of different setups in his strategy. He can do dip trading, he can do um like breaks off VWAP, he can do curls, he can do a whole bunch of different stuff. But the main patterns that I'm looking for from his strategy are 1 minute pullbacks. So we have the 1 minute bull flag, the 1 minute ABCD, and the 1 minute micro pullback. If you don't know what those are, I can tell you, but I'll move along. I'm going to assume that you know what those are. We have a 5 minute breakout. So we have 5 minute pullbacks, which is, it could be a 5 minute micro pullback, a 5 minute bull flag, or a 5 minute ABCD. I trade on the 10-second chart sometimes as well on breaking news. I'll trade first 1 minute candle to make a new high, or I'll trade the first and second micro pullbacks on breaking news if it's moving quickly, with bull flags or ABCD patterns there, or even just a buy off of support. And then we have cup and handle patterns. I do have my strategy in my Discord, by the way, with some chart examples. So if you join the Discord, I have in there my entire strategy written out. So it might be a bit more useful than me kind of just verbalizing it. Yeah, sure. If you have questions about it, I'd be happy to ask or happy to answer. But I do, considering what happened earlier, I do have to try. I have to try and balance watching stocks with answering comments here. There's nothing happening right now, so I'm happy to answer. But I should probably get used to leaving chat on the side while things are potentially moving. Been slim pickings lately. Only one trade last week. Yeah. NXTC was the best trade for me for the week last week. There were two trades, or maybe one trade on, it was either Wednesday or Thursday that I missed that popped up like 200, 300% in that one first few minute one. I'm stumbling over my words. In the first few minutes. But other than that, yeah, I mean, we're just kind of sitting around, chilling, waiting. I don't trade penny stocks, so this is all no go for me. That's good. Hopefully we keep up the green weeks this week. I was green last week, 20 bucks. I was break even the week before, and then I was green 2 weeks ago because I caught that blue sky setup and got a nice trade on that. So let's keep up the green weeks here. I just missed a trade this morning, unfortunately, but we're not red, and that's what matters. We're just being patient. Jegpad says, generous of you to share. Appreciate your calm demeanor. Thanks for your comment. I'll clarify for everyone that's watching right now that honestly I kind of reject current content creators a little bit right now, in a certain sense that like there's so many of them that are just monetizing. I even considered doing AI thumbnails and stuff, and I tried some of the AI generating thumbnails and whatnot. I don't know, it just feels so disingenuous, honestly, like trying to maximize viewership and trying to monetize on everything, getting sponsorships. I don't know, all that stuff to me. I kind of just want to build a community and sit down and then share what I'm doing. If you go look on YouTube, like everyone has the same thumbnails now. They're all AI generated. Like we're kind of just turning society into a content mill. I have like my one of my videos does have an AI generated thumbnail on it. I thought I would try it, but I don't know. I kind of just want to just stream and talk to people and like share things as we grow in trading. It's like I get it, right? Like people want to make money. People need to live. People need to support themselves. People want to generate viewership and interest and all that. I just don't know if overly monetizing and like streamlining everything is the only way to get views. I think the approach that I'm going to take for now is just stream every day, be honest, share my thoughts, share the journey. Focusing on the 9 EMA strat, looking for confirmation to lead. I've never actually tried the 9 EMA strat. I don't think I'd be able to do it though on my broker because I would get eaten alive by commissions just buying the 9 EMA and then selling for like quick scalps. I think I would need to switch brokers if I were to try that strategy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Yeah, good job on staying disciplined, K-Man. I think that for at least a strategy that I'm trading in Ross trades, discipline is key when there's a cold market. Keeping and protecting your gains until there's opportunity is the right path. Oh, so you the 90 EMA strat that I'm familiar with is like, for example, here on BCIG, it's like you buy down at 106 and then you sell for quick scalps as it pops back up, and then you buy every time it hits the 90 EMA, and then you sell for like a quick scalp as it pops back up. So like every time it hits the 90 EMA here, it would be a buy, and then while MACD is open, and then down here, like you wouldn't be buying anymore. Now it's not holding anymore. MACD's closed. Okay, that's interesting. So it's 8 minutes to 8:30. Hopefully we get some news. BCIG popping up a little bit. It's our second leading gainer now. I think I'm going to stick to my discipline and not trade this, even if it does break through high of day. The news isn't great. It's a penny stock. It's a garbage daily. Might be moving a little bit, but I think it's just not the right stock to trade. Half the battle is staying disciplined to that stock selection criteria. I agree. I had an interesting thought, not just from watching Ross Cameron's videos, but from watching other content creators and some of the hedge funds and the prop firms and stuff, some of the people from those places. And they talk about edge, right? Ross doesn't really necessarily talk about edge too often, but um, he does talk about it occasionally. And I think for this particular strategy, when we're talking about edge, we're talking about one of two things. We're talking about level 2 for Ross himself, and we're talking about what the stock is doing that gives us an edge. As I've said before, I think edge is when the stock is doing one of three things: it's breaking out of a range, or it's making new highs, or it has fresh news on that first squeeze and is moving quickly. That's where our edge is. on stocks that are obvious to traders, being exactly the stock selection criteria that you mentioned there. It has a low float, so it has the ability to move quickly. It's in a price range between $2 to $10 that most retail traders are going to be looking at. It's a top leading gainer, which is percentage on the day. And it is making a fresh move, which is why relative volume is important. And it actually has volume. So that's where the strategy's edge is. It has a higher probability of a good outcome for us when it's doing one of those three things. And we have the ability to read level 2 and jump in and out of trades where it matters. Right? Stock selection is the criteria edge. Level 2 is our execution edge. When you combine those two things, that's where we make profit with Ross Cameron's momentum strategy. Down here in this area, we don't have edge in this area because it's harder to read level 2 on the execution side. And it's going to be moving choppier and more slowly because it's not doing one of those three things, breaking out of a range. It's consolidating here. It's not making new highs and it's not moving quickly. So sure, let me open up my Discord here. I minimized it. I did not mean to. There we go. All right, thanks for stopping by, K-Man. So this is 10-second charts. Oh no, this is a 1 minute, the 10-second. Amen, 10-second. This basically looks like Ross Cameron's type of strategy, like VRAX 1 minute. It just looks like a bull flag almost. Not quite a bull flag, maybe more of like a flat top, but you buy off of the 9 EMA there. So you buy when it gets close to the 9 EMA. The second one, VRAX. This is on the 10-second chart. This is kind of an ABCD pattern, except you buy off of the 9 EMA. Has higher volume buying, lower volume selling. GMM 10-second. Yeah, this is another kind of bull flag micro pullback off of the 10-second. You buy near the 9 EMA. Second 1 minute, 10-second for Ross Momo, 1 minute for slower. This one looks a little bit different. VRAX 10-second looks like a curl back up after that previous jackknife. an ABCD pattern. Okay. I mean, I would probably take some of these trades myself, but I think the difference would be, I guess, our mentality of when we take our entry. Oh, VCIG just tanked. What is this? BAOS popping up? Chinese stock with news? Non-binding memorandum of understanding? This is dangerous right now because it's a low float. It's right under the 200 moving average on the daily. Doesn't have enough volume yet. Total volume. And it's only up a small percentage. So we have to just wait and see. Okay, yeah. It makes sense. Your strategy makes sense for sure. So I'm not sure about BIYA here. I mean, MACD scrolled positive. We have this 5-minute candle closing in 5 seconds. If it breaks through 768, and it could curl back up again since it's the only thing moving. But I don't know. I would almost rather just not take a trade today than trade this curl, to be honest. It's just, it doesn't look very nice. If you look at the 5-minute chart. I don't know. The cleanest time to buy would have been right there on that micro pullback. Probably would have been my one trade for the day. So I think it would be better for me just to say I missed it and then move on to if there's no other news that pops up today, then just kind of leave the stock now. Because I don't think it's going to be clean anymore. Some people got this trade back here. That bounce. Oops. We'll see if we get any news at 8:45 or 9, I suppose. Tiago, what you doing back there? What you doing? Dogs are good stress relievers. You gotta look at them and say, no FOMO. It's all good. Hey, buddy? We have no FOMO on Bia. You just gotta look away from the charts and recenter yourself. curling back up here. I don't know. Yeah, it ends up breaking through. These Chinese stocks really, it doesn't make any sense to me why this is coming up again, other than the fact that it's a leading gainer and traders are bored. Because it doesn't have any news. There's no reason for it to be moving. Like back here, I'm more confident in taking a trade back here while it's fresh because this is at 7 a.m., right? This is when traders are sitting down and they're looking at stuff moving for the first time. But right here is, a good place to buy, but we're getting later into the evening now. We're getting closer to 9:30. So I'm less optimistic that this is going to punch through and go all the way back up to high of day. So, I mean, it is giving me FOMO that I'm missing this a little bit, but I don't want to trade it here. It's going to be choppier. It has less likely of a probability to succeed. And it doesn't have any news, so. The China meme, I'm not sure what meme that is. As long as it's not swearing or like blatant racism, I guess. Well, actually, I don't care about swearing. You can swear. I just don't want any racism or controversial topics, I think. I don't trust China. I don't trust China. I trust China on the front side of the move, not the back side of the move. Because China will stab you in the back. But I mean, this is exactly why I don't like to trade curl right here. It's got a huge range here. 818 pulls all the way back to 780. Now it's just chopping around. I don't know. A form with a topping tail, probably. I think I'm good. I don't want to act as liquidity for Xi Jinping sitting in Hong Kong pressing the buy button or the sell button. Hong Kong headquarters. I'll just throw the sock for my dog and chill out until we get news. Got a nice socky, buddy? Got a nice sock? You've waited to see it at 8. Hold, and then the 90 made to catch up around 775. Do you not find that sometimes it takes too long for the 90 mate to come up before, like sometimes it just goes without you? Boy, what you got? Oh, get it. Okay. Typically what I do is I use the level 2 rather than the 9 EMA for my entries. I'll look at what high of day is, or what high of a pivot is, or what high of first candle to make a new high is. And I'll watch the level 2. I'll unredact the tape for 2 seconds. I'll watch like the bid and the ask, but primarily the bid while it's pulling back to a certain level, and I'll see like, does this get hold off of 750, or maybe I'll keep in mind where the 9 EMA is. Does it hold off of the 9 EMA? And if it bounces twice, then I'll start getting interested in maybe buying for that ABCD, or maybe the bull flag as it pulls back, or if I see a burst of green on the tape as it gets bought back up from a certain level, a half or whole dollar. Sometimes I'll buy as it's consolidating, with that level in mind as a level of support as my stop, maybe like 5 or 10 cents below. Or I'll wait for confirmation of a burst of green on the tape to buy first candle to make a new high as it's moving quickly. That's usually what I do for my buys. So the bid is like, I look for whether the bid's going to fall out, and if there's bidders stacking as it's pulling back to a certain level, or if it bursts of green that it's getting bought back up. And then as it's moving, then I'll look at the ask to see if there are any sellers in the way. Get it. I gotta cover this back up though. Don't want to get banned. Let's see. Yes, you have kind of a high of, we have a high of around 950 there. Rolling up, higher volume buying, later volume selling. Break of around 930. Or are those your orders there? Yeah, I'm not super familiar with this Or no, that's the time in sales. So where do your orders start here? So that was a sell. So you bought earlier here somewhere. All right, it's a little bit difficult because I don't see your order entry window. I can see some. I see your buy order popping up there, right down there, 9. Yeah, that was a good spot to buy. One thing I'll note is that there's a little bit of a previous flat top around 9 there, so that acted 9 was the level that acted as your support, which is good, being both the psychological level of support and also because of that flat top there. And I guess as the 9 EMA came up and curled close to it, you kind of had a triple level of support almost. And then you also had that bull flag pattern forming. Yeah, that was a good trade. I was I was still considering whether or not I should hide my P&L or not. I'm usually pretty calm. I don't think P&L affects me as much anymore. And it is useful for me because I mean I need to see P&L if I want to know if I hit max loss or not. Or if I want to be like Ross and I want to size up when I have a cushion. If I get like a $5 or a $10 cushion, then I might be able to size up a little bit to take advantage of another winning trade. Hard max loss. Yeah, that might be a really good way to approach things actually. Hide your P&L, only have a max loss with the broker, set it to whatever you're comfortable with, maybe like on what you make a day on average, so you're not losing more in a day than you can make in a day in like one good day. Hide the P&L, and then you just don't have any restrictions. You just trade, not think about only the process. The way my strategy works right now is I give myself a revolving bullet type of strategy. So if I have a winning trade, right, that doesn't expend a bullet. So I have 2 bullets, but for every winning trade, um, it doesn't expend a bullet. But for every losing trade, it does expend a bullet. So if I lose 2 trades, I'm done. But if I also reach max loss in that one trade, I'm also done. Max loss being 2.5% of my account size. So I don't cap my upside, but I cap my downside, and I cap the number of losers I can have. I'm not even sure if TradeZero has a max loss on here that I can set. I've never actually checked. I can set a max loss. Probably have to contact support to do that. I'm seeing that it only works during regular market hours. It says it'll auto liquidate your positions past a certain max loss size during regular market hours only. So that's another L for TradeZero. I've said this before, but TradeZero gets the job done, but there are better brokers, I think. Because there are some things that they don't do. It seems like they're very geared toward regular market hours. But at least, yeah, at least they don't restrict my trading like some brokers do. They don't, like TradeZero doesn't restrict any stocks. I think they all have their pros and cons. So we got 2 minutes to 9 a.m., so I'll be paying attention if there's any news. But we're not going to force a trade if there are no trades. At least you can switch off CMEG though if it ends up not suiting you. I live in Canada, so I literally can't. I don't have an option but to trade with TradeZero really right now because TradeZero is the only broker that doesn't restrict stocks and also has hotkeys, like good customizable hotkeys, other than Centerpoint Canada. But Centerpoint Canada requires a $30,000 minimum account size. Like I could trade with Webull, but Webull's a bit slower in execution speed, and they restrict stocks sometimes. Ocean One is banned in Ontario. I can't trade with Ocean One. And Questrade doesn't have good hotkeys, so TradeZero is really my only option because I can't trade with U.S. brokers, most U.S. brokers in Canada. Which is unfortunate. Otherwise, I would probably trade with like Lightspeed, or I would trade with I heard Thinkorswim also restricts stocks. There might be some other good traders, other good platforms. I don't think CMEG is available in Canada. No, CMEG is not available in Canada. It's because Canadians, like the Canadian government requires US brokers to register with a Canadian authority and pay fees to allow Canadian residents to join their brokers and open brokerage accounts. So a lot of US brokers just don't do it because Canadian regulations are for them are a pain in the ass and they also have to pay fees. And there's probably not enough of a Canadian base that like a Canadian customer base that they care about to make up for it. So it's not a matter of like I can't I've actually tried contacting some US brokers before and they just it's not even a matter of signing a waiver or anything. It's like no, we cannot accept you because of regulations. I would if I could. If I could move to the USA, find a job there. Canada's great and all. You know, we got the Great Lakes, we got lots of fresh water, lots of trees, lots of open space. But what it doesn't have is a lot of access to good things. You don't have a lot of good businesses. Prices just keep going up and up and up. Our cost of living just keeps going up and up. Now we're kind of burning down in time. So we're past 9 a.m. now and we still don't have any news. Oh man. Why is the sound from my off PC suddenly not working? Oh, it's because my headset turned off. Why? When the scanners are so slow, you don't even notice that your headset turns off. I do have a notification on my scanners. I just mute my desktop so you guys don't have to hear it. Muted on OBS, I mean. This is up 50%, it's starting to move, but I'm not too interested in trading pennies. There's no news. Another Chinese stock. I don't know. I'm just gonna end up as liquidity if the Chinese, if I trade that. I think my dog wants upstairs. Give me a second here. Hmm. Last chance for news at 9:15. I'm not really that optimistic. All right. You guys can't hear my stomach growling on mic. I didn't have any breakfast this morning. Well, it's not that I didn't want to trade Bia. Um, right here, I probably would have taken a trade, but I wasn't looking at it when it popped up there. I was kind of chatting with a viewer, so it was kind of unfortunate. I honestly didn't expect it to pop up right here, but I should have been looking at it. I will admit though that I am a bit more cautious than most people, especially while I'm learning, because I'm trying to focus on accuracy. Accuracy is the biggest thing that I'm working on right now. I had a comment the other day saying like I could have scaled in and out of my trade on NXTC, and that is true. And there are some green moves that I have missed as well that I'm aware of that I sometimes hesitate getting into. So hesitation is one of the issues that I'm working on, and I agree that I am a little bit cautious. But with good reason. I mean, Ross only has one trade today, and that trade is right here where I'm circling on that pop. And I think I would have taken this trade if I was looking at it because there was a nice micro pullback right there. It's did the exact same thing that NXTC did last week, where we had this rejection and then you buy as it reclaims that rejection candle on this micro pullback right here for the breakthrough 750. I probably would have bought that. Back here, I didn't buy because I didn't see a good setup there. But yeah, if you go look back in the stream, I wasn't even looking at it when it popped up, which is kind of unfortunate. So it is what it is. I didn't take a trade because I didn't want to chase it when I realized that it was popping. I didn't trade it up here. I felt like it was going to do this. So but I think that was the only opportunity for today. I don't think that my hesitation was a problem anywhere else today. Like, I'm not interested in it here because this is the backside of the move. And I'm pretty sure it's just going to be choppy. Unless it can get back up near high of day and maybe do like a cup and handle pattern or something, but we're getting pretty close to market open. So I made a mistake this morning. It is going to be something for me to contend with, learning how to trade and answer people's questions at the same time as I get more viewers and I get more things in chat. I'm going to have to make sure that I'm not missing the opportunities while I'm chatting with people. That's on me. That's not on chat. Because it is a problem if I miss my one trade for the day while I'm busy. Because that trade right there could have been a $1 per share trade. But I do acknowledge that I do have a bit of a hesitation problem sometimes with trades that I'm not comfortable with, particularly if I'm looking at a stock that's popping up on breaking news. Sometimes I would prefer to get in on a pullback, on a micro pullback. But sometimes it ends up moving too quickly and then it goes without me and then it's up 200% or 300% by the time it even gets to the second pullback. I'm thinking, well, is this even going to continue going higher? It's already up like 300%. Yeah, it was unexpected for me. It was a pretty unexpected move. Even Ross said on stream that he didn't think that this was going to move cleanly, and he didn't take a trade on it anywhere in here. He just didn't trade it. But it started moving. It popped up very quickly right there. So if you weren't watching it, you might not have caught it. And I had drawn like, I had drawn some descending resistance because of these 3 topping tails right here. And I was thinking like this thing's got descending resistance. It just did a rejection. We've got 3 levels of resistance to get through. That's why I wasn't even looking at it while I was chatting with a viewer. I'm like, this is a Chinese stock with no news. If I was looking at it, I would have taken this trade, I feel like. Because of how quickly it popped up and it was a 1-minute candle close with a nice micro pullback, I probably would have taken it. But right here, right? If you're looking at this right here, like this doesn't look to me like this is going to pop. This looks like it's just going to go lower. It only took 3 1-minute candles for that to reverse. But right here, as I was sitting down, we have a topping tail. We have this higher volume pullback. I don't know. I think today just ended up being a miss. Didn't even have volume, yeah. And one thing I will remind some viewers as well is that I'm kind of gauging whether I'm being too cautious based on what Ross trades as well. Like I have his stream up on the side, and I look at it occasionally to see like what trades he's taking and what trades he's not taking, because he takes a quality over quantity approach, and I do the same. I try to do the same. So if there's a day where he has a ton of trades and I don't have any trades, and that signals to me that yeah, I'm being way too picky. But if I have more trades than he does, then he's kind of been a decent benchmark for whether I'm over trading or under trading. And he does take some trades that I haven't taken, particularly on the front side of the move on fresh breaking news, which is what I'm still working on, getting rid of the hesitation to trade those, because I'm not as confident with them. But I think that for most of the day where I'm not taking any trades here today after that pop on BIYA, I don't think I'm being too picky. I think I'm doing well, remaining disciplined, and just not trading the choppiness that this is, because there's no edge for me here. It was choppy, could have won or lost big. When trade breakouts go very, very small. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. Um, to get comfortable with trading fresh breaking news. If it's got fresh breaking news and it's moving very quickly, I might just start jumping in with 20 shares. And if it starts working, then maybe I can add to the position. Or 50 shares. Or maybe just 50 shares and leave it at that if I'm not sure. I need to be trading with small enough size that I can get rid of that hesitation and start learning. But I'm very comfortable with trading 1 minute pullbacks, like 1 minute micro pullbacks, 1 minute bull flags, 1 minute ABCDs. If I see those setups form, I don't really have much hesitation on them. I can buy first minute candle to make a new high, or I can buy to anticipate that, and that's okay. Curls I'm still a little bit wary of, for sure. So sometimes I hesitate on curls, but I probably I wouldn't have here, even though it could have just rejected again. But I'm still hesitating on breaking news, speeding up my workflow to make sure that I'm reading everything very quickly and jumping in before it pulls away without me. If it's a good quality, it looks like it's going to hold up. I'm trying to be a bit more dynamic with the setups that I'm willing to take. Like I know what to look for in most of these setups, but I do have a set number of setups that I'm willing to trade. Curling patterns, if any of you are around, I know Bass was around for when I was doing my simulator run, backtesting my strategy, and at that time curls just weren't working at all. Every time it curled up, it would reject. So curling patterns for a long time were just siphoning a ton of my profits. So I just stopped trading them. But I think I'm more leaning towards setup sentiment right now, where if curling patterns have been working, they're more likely to work. So there are several examples in the past couple of weeks where curling pattern has done the exact same thing. Traders have seen that, like NXTC did the exact same thing last week, which is why I would have jumped in on BIYA on that curl today. So I'm not going to say I'm never going to trade curling patterns, I'm going to trade them if I see the same setup forming that has been working, because other traders are going to see the same thing that I do and they're also going to jump in. They're going to remember that curl from an XCC last week and they're going to jump in. But it depends on the sentiment. If those start failing, then I can't be stubborn and continue trading them. I have to adapt, which is exactly why we haven't been seeing bull flags and ABCD patterns on the 1 minute recently. They just haven't been appearing very often at all. And when they do appear, short sellers have been aggressively shorting off them. Those previously were my confidence setups. Like every time I saw that, that was okay, I'm taking this trade. Let's get ready. But now they haven't been appearing as much and they haven't been working as much. So now I have to focus on where traders are, like where the sentiment is, which is when a stock has breaking news and it goes up 300% in the first 3 1 minute candles, or when it's curling back up like it just did right there, and catching that pop when MACD curls positive and it breaks through that previous rejection candle. Or buying the first and second micro pullbacks on a fresh spike as it's breaking out and either making new highs or breaking out of a range, breaking through VWAP. That's where sentiment is that I've seen recently. But to keep that in mind, it's always quality over quantity. We're looking for 1 to 3 during a cold market of the easiest money trades per day. If I miss it, I miss it. And if there's none, there's none. And like this, if it's a grindy stock and not in our stock selection criteria, then, you know, we just don't trade it. Fresh new happens very fast, usually 2 10-second pullbacks, maybe 2 to 3 minutes only, and then it's done. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the sentiment that's been happening. It pops up 2 to 300%, and then it's overextended, and then it dies. It rolls over or it consolidates for a long time until it crawls back up. Like the first 1 minute pullbacks just haven't been working. All of the sentiment has been shifted onto right away. Traders jump in right away. It pops up 2 or 300% if the news is good, and then it's done. With the exception of these grindy penny stocks. And then it might, if it holds up, then it might curl back up, and then you might get a trade on the curl. But so I can't trade the first few minutes of market open because my broker lags. But I suppose we'll see what this does. Put this at 5, kind of makes more sense. Hmm. So the halt down band is down at 691. About 60 cents away. So the question is whether this is going to do a red to green move or not. Pretty choppy. Yeah, that's it's a bit too much of a sell-off for me to want to take a red to green move on it. There hasn't been any particular Discord that everyone's been using Bass, but my particular preference for chatting during stream would be like the stream room. So like trade discussion or questions or just the general text chat is fine. I mean, I can develop the server more depending on feedback I get. I basically made the Discord as, we have general chat, so just like an off topic. So like off topic is anything not trading, general is just everything trading, it doesn't really matter. We have voice channels, we have lounge if anyone wants to sit in the lounge. I didn't really think about voice channels that much because I don't think that's going to be very used quite yet. We have the stream room, so while I'm streaming, if I have any stream notifications or if anyone wants to post like screenshots. Oh yeah, I should check. Just make sure that if anyone posts screenshots that it's not showing any account information in the screenshots. Because we don't want anyone to get their account hacked because they post their information. Okay. Looks like SkyQ broke through that previous level, that 439 level. How is US oil doing? Oh, it's not back on the rise because people think that there's going to be a war with Iran, probably. And that deal kind of fell through. And there's some talk about like boots on the ground potentially. So I can see why SkyQ might be back on the rise for that big sell-off. I don't particularly like trading oil stocks though, because even back when the Iran war started, these oil stocks were really, really choppy. Yeah, see, look at that jackknife. 480 down to 460. I guess it wasn't too bad, but they tend to be very choppy. And it's only up 22% right now, but it is, I will acknowledge that it's breaking through this flat top here, daily flat top. And it maybe has room up to like 650. It's just going to be pretty choppy on the way up, I think. But yeah, there's in the Discord there's some other rooms. There's Trader Rehab, the bragging room if anyone wants to show off like they got any huge trades. But you guys can always let me know if you want some additional channels. Huh. All right, have a good one, Bass. I'm probably out here in a minute too. I don't think that there's anything that I'm interested in trading. ZYBT gonna be too grindy for me, and it's halting up. Just gonna halt around all day because it started below $1. So its halt bands are gonna be very tight. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here too. There's nothing interesting for me. I kind of just missed my one trade for the day back here on BIA, unfortunately. The one trade that I would have taken for that top, where was it? Right here. Yeah, I probably would have taken this, but it is what it is. No trade day is better than a red day. We're gonna come back tomorrow, and hopefully we get some action tomorrow. All we can really do. Yeah, no problem. Have a good day. If you guys continue trading at the open here, manage your risk. This is going to be very risky. BIYA being a Chinese stock with no news after selling off like that. It could do a red to green move here, but hopefully you guys manage your risk, take it slow, and I'll be back tomorrow. So have a good day, Doom, Jag, Kadira, Malik, and thanks for stopping by. Until then, take care, stay green. See you guys next time.